Restrictions may apply.
Fraudsters are out to get your hard-earned money, but you can protect yourself by following 3 simple steps. 1, don't give your account number, card information, or online banking login credentials to anyone. 2, be cautious in responding to unexpected pop-up windows or text messages. And 3, watch your accounts. If you suspect that your bank information has been compromised, call your FNB Bank immediately. We are here to help you protect your hard-earned money. FNB Bank, member FDIC.
Ranchland.com is your go-to source for buying and selling land. I'm Craig Townsend, broker with Mason & Morris Ranch Company. As America's leading land brokerage focusing on farms and ranches, lifestyle luxury estates, and recreational hunting and fishing properties, Mason & Morris Ranch Company offers a comprehensive understanding from water rights to land management and everything in between. Find me, Craig Townsend, a 5th-generation farm and rancher at ranchland.com to see why at Mason & Morris Ranch Company, we live it to know it.
Hello, this is Ron Schilling, president of the Sherman County Community Foundation. We're having a big celebration. Please join us at 7:30 p.m. on September 7th at the Price Convention Center in Goodland as we come together to celebrate all the support you have given us. Big Time Grain Company will be providing live music and a cash bar will be available. We are grateful for you, and we're so excited to announce our new goals and plans for Sherman County. This is a free event and open to everyone. Hope to see you on the 7th.
Are you in search of a new pickup? Well, why not trust the team at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas, as they currently have great deals on all kinds of trucks. Get yourself into a 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 pickup with 5.9% APR plus $3,250 purchase allowance when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Or get a 2024 GMC Sierra 2500 pickup with 5.9% for 84 months. As always, go to hurlchev.com to schedule any service or check out what's on the lot, or just stop on by in South Goodland.
Phones nowadays can do practically anything, including feed you.
And now they cannot.
Well, that is if you download the McDonald's app. Use the McDonald's app to get deals on the food you love, including McCafes, soft drinks, fries, and so much more. Plus, keep up to date on what's trending at McDonald's with the latest promotions, events, new products, and specials. You can even order and pay from the app. So download it today and score from your local McDonald's at Burlington, Colby, Goodland, and Lamar.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the Insurance Agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
In recent months, some people looking for Midwest Energy on Google have reported sponsored ads pop up with different phone numbers, connecting them to scammers. When online, always look closely at links and phone numbers before clicking or calling. Midwest Energy's only phone number is 1-800-222-3121. Any other number, and it's likely a scam. Midwest Energy, a customer-owned cooperative, making energy work for you.
You ready?
It's the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
The amount of money getting thrown around to quarterbacks who haven't done diddly squat is amazing to me.
The region's only local sports talk.
Listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about.
Broadcasting on Goodland's Rocket 102.5. Simulcasting on Goodland's 730 Gold KLOE.
Guys everywhere.
Discussing it all from the preps.
It's been a long, long time. But the Goodland Cowboys are going to play for a state title.
To the pros.
How about a walk-off grand slam? Touch of all time, Ryan McMahon.
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, as well as the Insurance Agency, Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work.
High fly ball, right field and deep. Brennan back on the track, at the wall. See ya. He's done it again. His 48th home run of the year. The show continues. 1-0 Ings.
Next 1-2 pitch. And that one's hit deep to left, chasing Wood back. Wood to the warning track, Wood to the wall, and it's gone. It's into the Rockies bullpen. Brenton Doyle puts the Rockies on the board.
Second down and goal, under pressure, throws, caught, and a touchdown. A.D. Mitchell.
And he breaks into the secondary again. 15 angles, 10, 5, and drags a bear down inside the 5. They say touchdown, Kansas City. He took his alligator in there. What a run, 32-yard left angle run by Carson Steele.
Happy Friday morning, everybody. Glad you could join us here on the Morning Blitz for August the 23rd. It's a glorious morning outside. Sun is out, coming up after another evening of rain, night of rain in some spots. They have even a little tornado yesterday as well, which was certainly interesting over there between Burlington and Canorado. But yeah, so an interesting night of weather. But hey, what a beautiful morning. I had, probably about 40 to 50 in my rain gauge this morning. I saw an inch 10 north of Monument, thanks to Marshall, who texted in on the FB Bank text line this morning, giving his rainfall report. If you'd like to hand those out this morning, we'd love to hear them. We'll pass them along, 785-899-2222, the number to text in your rainfall report on the FB Bank text line. But a nice night of a little bit of rain, a little moisture, always going to take that. And like I said, a little bit of interesting severe weather as well, just right along the Colorado and Kansas border, and kind of going up into Nebraska just a touch, but not quite as much as it was in Colorado and Kansas. So glad you're joining us here on this Friday morning. We'll have our friend Riley Gates from On3 Sports joining us to talk some college football. That's right. College football season week 0 kicks off tomorrow. The big game, of course, being the Aer Lingus Classic, the game that Kansas State will play Iowa State in next season. This year, it's an ACC matchup between Georgia Tech and Florida State. And I think it will be a good game that kicks off at 11 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Mountain Time. College Game Day is over there. Look forward to watching the first edition of College Game Day of the 2024 season. There are some other games as well. You've got Nevada and SMU, which SMU kind of getting some backdoor love a little bit there. They're getting some love kind of behind the scenes from a lot of people. So that's exciting to see for SMU joining the Big 12 and how good that program could possibly be, who they return, and they're scheduled in the Big 12. So look forward to seeing them take on Nevada, who they should beat pretty handily, if we're being completely honest with you. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, no matter which way you're doing so, no matter if it's on the radio stations of Rocket 1025 or 730 Gold KLOE, or if it's online at ndbksradio.net or the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Here on this Friday morning and catch it all. You can also, I keep reminding you, if you want to tweet at the show, you can tweet at me at Ross Volkmer if you'd like to do that. If you want to comment on the show as well, you can do so on YouTube and stuff. During the live stream, we've got those comments coming in as well. So hit us up throughout the show with your thoughts and comments on the program. Like I said, Riley Gates is going to join us. We'll get to a little bit of baseball as the Rocks drop the series finale to the Nationals. We'll get to the walk-off with a little bit of a local flavor as once again, you've got volleyball getting going for Colby Community College this weekend down in Texas, starting today. We'll touch on that in the walk-off. But want to get the show going. Couple of, last night the Chiefs finished up the preseason with a loss to the Bears, 34-21. More on that in just a second. The big news, though, was right before kickoff. It was announced that the Chiefs had reached a new deal with their center, Creed Humphrey, the young man out of Oklahoma, who I believe is only in his third year out of Oklahoma, but he is now the highest paid center in the NFL, agrees to a 4-year extension worth $72 million, and that includes a $50 million in guarantees. So the 25-year-old, now the richest center in the NFL. He's also one of the best interior linemen in the NFL, at least when it comes to pass blocking. He ranked second in the NFL amongst interior linemen in pass block win rate at 98.8%. There's only one guy who was better than him. That was the guard to his left, Joe Tooney, who is with the Chiefs as well. He was number 1. So Patrick Mahomes has 2 of the best interior pass blockers in the NFL right in front of him. That's a great luxury, and that's one of the reasons why we see the success happening for the Kansas City Chiefs, I think. No doubt about it. As I've said before, it all starts up front. So that's great to see. So the Chiefs get Creed Humphrey signed. Once again, it's another one of those deals, and they had Brett Veach on the radio broadcast last night to talk about getting the deal done. It's another one of those deals for Kansas City where they find a way, despite, and it's just finding ways to work the cap. And they seem to be one of the best teams at doing it. They got the best quarterback in the league. He may not be the highest paid at this point in time, but he's certainly making plenty of money. They've got a tight end, that's a future Hall of Famer. They've got, Hollywood Brown, who they spent money on this year. They certainly spend their money, and now they've got the highest paid center in the NFL. They know how to work the cap to allow to pay these guys and to keep this roster together in order to keep having success and hopefully, from a Chiefs fan perspective, win their third consecutive Super Bowl here this season. I was listening to some radio coming into, and they were talking about who is the biggest threat to the Chiefs ahead of this upcoming 2024-25 NFL season. And one of the persons goes, well, it's just the Chiefs. The Chiefs are the only threat to themselves. So that to me is very interesting. That I always find it fascinating how they're able to keep these really good players, and they keep them there for long periods of time. If the Chiefs want you, they're going to find a way to keep you. If they don't want you, they're going to find a way to get some value out of you. And another thing the Chiefs do extremely well, and they're probably the best in the business at doing this. Once again, I go back to the Dan Lucero quote, the open box special. Finding those players that didn't work out somewhere else, whether it be on the field or off the field, giving them a second chance, and it's resulted in having success. Those are the ones that I'm super impressed with, to be honest with you. Those are the ones. Matt Ariza, I think, could be one of the punter this year for Kansas City, who, by the way, got a punt to check up and had a guy blocked into it, and the Chiefs almost got a turnover there, which was very impressive. So, yeah, overall, the Chiefs just find a way to get guys paid that deserve it, and Creed Humphrey is one of those guys that deserves to be paid, and he has a very, very important job of protecting the franchise and snapping to the franchise as well, I should say. So, yeah, once again, I'm very impressed with that. The F&B Bank text line is popping right now, not only with some sports thoughts, but also some rainfall reports. Let's get to some of this. Got 88 points in Oakley, a quarter inch in Colby, 70 points in Grinnell, 2 inches and 2 inches and 20 hundredths. Wow, in southeast Logan County, 60 points in Winona. So yeah, got some really nice rainfall across most of the listening region last night, which is great. Like I said, we'll always take those rainfall reports. And also on the F&B Bank text line, Michael chiming in on the show here. Let's see here. Unfortunately, now we've got a whole bunch of other stuff going on. Get this pulled up. Michael says, Denver Broncos are going to be a threat again. Get ready, Chiefs Kingdom. Hope you enjoyed your run. Of course, Michael would say that, talking about his Broncos. But I don't know. It's like I said, I'm so impressed by the Chiefs and how they find a way to keep their really good players around for as long as they want. And then, like I was mentioning, if they don't want you, they're going to find a way to get something for you. And, think about Tyreek Hill, for example, who, I don't know, I'm still kind of against that a little bit. I think I've always said, and I believe it, that Tyreek Hill is one of one. There's only one Tyreek Hill. And if he was still on the Chiefs, who knows where they would be at this point in time. So, but we'll see. They've got some, Rashee Rice has been a pretty good wide receiver. They have Hollywood Brown now, and there's some guys that are trying to make the roster. I mean, that was the other thing, in that 34-21 win, we didn't see really any starters play for either side, the Bears or the Chiefs. But the question, I guess, I had going into, or coming out of that game is who's going to make the roster. I'll tell you one guy I'm very interested to see if he makes the roster is the guy who probably had the best game last night for the Chiefs. That's Carson Steele. 4 carries, 50 yards, and a touchdown. 31-yard rumble that didn't result in a touchdown when it was all said and done. But I am interested in seeing if he does make the team. I'm very interested. I think he may, according to some reports, he made a good case to possibly one of the backups to Isaiah Pacheco. I like Carson Steele. I think he's good. I remember when he played, if my memory serves correctly, he was at Northern Illinois. I think that's where he was at, and then transferred to UCLA for his final year, and then was undrafted, picked up by the Chiefs, and has had a pretty good spring. I look forward to seeing if he can make the team. The wide receiver, Nico Remigio, if he makes the team as well. that's another guy I find interesting to see what he can do. So, yeah, there's a couple guys I'll be intrigued who ends up making the squad for Kansas City after that being their final preseason game. But the Chiefs end up going 0-3 in the preseason. But once again, it really doesn't amount to anything. I always say I kind of compare it to like spring training baseball. I've always believed if you have a great spring training season, that usually means that you're going to have a bad regular season. And if you have a bad spring training season, you're probably going to be okay in the regular season. That's just kind of my gut feeling. And I have the same feeling here. Kansas City's 0-3, still feel like they're going to be very, very good. And as I mentioned earlier, people believe that the only obstacle standing in the Chiefs' way of a third consecutive Super Bowl is themselves. Now, the Bears, they went 4-0 in the preseason. The Bears go 4-0 in the preseason. Now, I don't think, on the flip side, I don't think that means they're going to have a horrible season. I think they'll have a better season than they've had. Probably around the 500 mark would be my guess, maybe a little bit below. So that'd be my guess for the Bears going into this upcoming season. They've got a nice quarterback room. You know, Brett Rippon has looked really good, and Tyson Bagent's looked really good. And of course, Caleb Williams is going to be the starter. He didn't play last night. Bellis Jones, by the way, toted the rock for 111 yards against that Chiefs defense, backup Chiefs defense, and a touchdown. So, and of course, I've been following the Bears a little bit because of Hard Knocks too. So it's interesting to see how these guys and watch these guys live in action against the Chiefs yesterday. But 34-21, Bears get the win over the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday, or I should say last night at Arrowhead. And now we will find out who makes the roster for Kansas City. One more thing before we get into another topic here in the first segment. I wanted to quickly highlight or give a shout out to former Kansas quarterback Jason Bean, who was playing last night on Prime for the Indianapolis Colts. He came in after Anthony Richardson and Sam Ehlinger got done playing, but Jason Bean goes out there, goes 4 for 4 for 52 yards. He also runs the ball 3 times for 15 yards and a touchdown, does the former Kansas quarterback, reaching for the end zone. And so Jason Bean getting some look there. And people have really liked him in Indianapolis from everything I've read. They really like him. I don't know if he's going to make the roster or not. They've got quite the quarterback backups behind Anthony Richardson. Richardson goes 8 of 14 for 86 yards, a touchdown, a pick. He looked okay, I guess is the way I would put it. Bean goes 4 for 4. Sam Ehlinger goes 8 of 13 for 48 yards. Keaton Slovis goes 5 of 6. So the third and fourth string guys look better than the first and second string guys for Indianapolis at this point in time. But we'll see. I don't know. It used to be you only kept 2 quarterbacks in the NFL. And then the whole deal with, Purdy getting hurt and the whole Sanford NFC Championship game a couple of years ago when the Eagles beat the Niners and they had no quarterback they couldn't throw, and now it's more about keeping 3 quarterbacks. So we'll see if Jason Bean stays on the roster in Indianapolis, but I know at least a lot of the fans like what they've seen out of Jason Bean for Indianapolis, the former Jayhawk quarterback. All right, moving on here on the Morning Blitz, I wanted to get to an article I saw last night. So CBS Sports continues to kind of get ahead. They're ahead of the college football season. They're kind of rolling through their experts and making their predictions. And I was reading this article. And so what they did was they were talking about the most overrated team, and according to their panel of analysts, the most underrated team, according to their panel. And then they make bold predictions as well. They've done it for every conference. But the Big 12 one was interesting to me. There was a couple reasons why. I guess I just love to see where these experts think Kansas and Kansas State will end up in the Big 12, who will end up at the top. And I'll tell you, give to Kansas and Kansas State's credit, no one had any of them lower than 5th. So out of a total of 16 teams, they are all in the top 5. Doesn't matter who it is, they're all in the top 5. Okay, the lowest, one guy had Kansas ranked 5th. The lowest Kansas State is put in would be 4th. At this point in time, there are a couple of people who have Kansas State sitting in the championship or winning the Big 12. Multiple people have that, including Tom Fornelli, who's a big CBS guy. And there's multiple people who have Kansas State finishing in 2nd place, including Dennis Dodd, only behind Utah. Kansas, had a lot of people have Kansas finishing in 3rd. A couple of them have them finishing in 2nd. Let's see, or at least one of them. No, actually, I have them all finishing 3rd, 4th, or 5th. I screwed that up. So 3rd, 4th, or 5th for KU at this point in time. So that's kind of the predicted order of finish. So everyone loves Kansas and Kansas State both being in the top 5 of this 16-team Big 12. But the thing that was the most interesting is, so the first thing they get to is the most overrated teams. And of course, this is based upon everybody's individual opinion at CBS. So the teams that were named as most overrated possibly by the panel: Arizona, Colorado, Oklahoma State, West Virginia, UCF. By the way, for those Colorado fans out there, it's a complete craziness. I see Colorado picked to finish anywhere from dead last and 16th. All the highest someone has them finishing, I believe, is 10th. 10th to 16th, depending on who you ask. They have Colorado finishing anywhere from 10th to 16th. So in the bottom half of the Big 12. But anyway, back to the overrated teams. And they have Colorado in there as well. But I thought one funny was they had Kansas State, the number 2 overrated team. Here's what they had to say. At least a couple of the analysts of this panel here for CBS Sports talk about Kansas State being overrated. K-State deserves every bit of credibility it's earned over the past 3 years under Chris Klieman, but in a transition season, the Wildcats are getting a little too much love as a serious Big 12 contender. Kansas State lost All-American lineman Cooper Beebe, tight end Ben Sinnott, top receiver Phillip Brooks, and a host of other key players as well. Quarterback Avery Johnson will someday be the Big 12's best quarterback, just not right now after completing 56% of his passes as a freshman. The Wildcats are a year away from hitting their stride and getting back into the college football playoff conversation. The competition among the top 6 teams of the Big 12 will be incredibly fierce, and there are just too many moving pieces to pencil Kansas State comfortably into the Big 12 title game. That's from a couple of guys' opinions. Not all of them, but a couple of them with this Big 12 panel. I think this is a very good breakdown, personally. I do. I think Kansas State is a very good team. I think Avery Johnson is a very good quarterback. I just do also think that there are a lot of new pieces and new places, including in that offensive line, that are going to result in Kansas State coming up just a bit short of possibly making the college football playoff. That's just my opinion, and it's fun to see that. But here, continuing on the thought of Kansas State, so scrolling on down, they go to the most underrated teams, and Kansas State is by Tom Fernelli. He says Kansas State is one of the most underrated teams. This is what he had to say. It's odd to consider a team many consider to be one of the favorites when the Big 12 underrated, but it's the Big 12. It's hard to find an underrated team in a league full of similarly rated teams. Still, Kansas State has been one of the Big 12's best for a while now, and people seem too eager to crown Utah as Big 12 champion its first season in the league. I like the Utes a lot too, but overlook the Wildcats at your peril. Like I said, I would agree more on the overrated capsule there. Not that Kansas State I think is overrated. I just think there's too many moving pieces at this point in time. By the way, Kansas considered the top most underrated team, according to Dennis Dodd and a host of others. Say, give me all the Jayhawk stock I can buy to make a pretty serious run to Big Ten championship behind Jalen Daniels. He just has to stay healthy. If he can, this Leipold team will do what just about every Leipold team has done before it: win. That's once again from CBS Sports. So, like I said, I thought this article was interesting just to see a few of just what other people are thinking, especially at CBS. Some other interesting, the bold predictions. So those are overrated, underrated. Bold predictions. Dennis Dodd says the Big 12 will get 2 teams into the playoff, either Kansas State or Utah reaching the semifinals. Kansas is Lance Leipold, National Coach of the Year candidate after winning at least 9 games. That's Dennis Dodd. Every single team in the Big 12 will lose at least 3 conference games, which means the league will only get its champion into the playoff. That's Tom Fernelli, which I think could be an honest truth. I think they're obviously going to get 1 in, but I think there could be a lot of turmoil in the Big 12 this year. A lot of teams knocking off other teams, resulting in not a lot of teams standing out. So I would agree with that. Let's see if we can find here. The top 6 teams in the Big 12 will all finish within 1 game of each other in conference play. And then it'll send into a whole wave of tiebreakers, decide who will play for the conference championship. I think that could be the case as well. Like I said, I think you could see a lot of teams with 2 or 3 losses in the Big 12 this season. Richard Johnson says if Jalen Daniels stays healthy, and understand if it's a big, and I get it's a big if, his dual threat ability vaults Kansas to serious contention, to conference title contention, and propels him to New York to hold up a certain stiff-arming trophy in early December. Possibly a prediction to see Jalen Daniels picking up a Heisman Trophy. Maybe. We'll see about that. One person says the Big 12 produced 2 college football playoff teams. There are 5 teams that have a legit shot to win this conference, and 6 or 7 could finish the year ranked. So that will help the overall perception of strength. That could be true, too. You could have a lot of teams with just 2 or 3 losses, and those could be teams that are ranked, anywhere from 15 down to 25 or higher at this point in time. Jerry Palm does not like Deion Sanders. He goes, after the mediocre season, the Deion Sanders honeymoon, if there is still one, will be over. I don't think he will get fired at the end of the season, but his seat will be on fire at the beginning of 2025. That's according to Jerry Palm. These are just interesting stuff that are on CBSSports.com. I just thought it was interesting to see overrated, underrated teams. Iowa State, UCF, Texas Tech joined Kansas and Kansas State as underrated squads, according to CBS, and just to read these bold predictions. I think, once again, I would agree with these statements. I would agree, number one, with, yes, there's going to be a lot of turmoil in the Big 12. I think it's going to be the most interesting conference from top to bottom to watch week in and week out. I think you're going to see a lot of teams that have, or like I said, around 2 to 3 losses in the Big 12. I think we're going to see that. A lot of teams. And I think maybe even the champion ends up with 2 or 3 losses, in my opinion. Which I would agree could lead to a lot of tiebreaker scenarios. I get that as well. I do like the prediction that I think Kansas State might be a little bit, there's just a lot of moving pieces, which could result in it having some issues this season. I think that could be a possibility. I think they could be a year away from being very, very good. I would agree on that as well. KU and Jalen Daniels possibly getting to New York to lift a Heisman. I could see that happening. If he stays healthy, he's a dynamic player. That means Kansas probably has the year that I think they can. Once again, I've predicted Utah and KU in the Big 12 title game. I think that could be a certain possibility. So there are a lot of things that I agree with out of this whole ordeal. And I could see. I don't know if like I said, I could see, I don't know. I could see a really good number of teams being ranked at the end of the year. A little less confident in that prediction, but I could see that, I guess. Big 12 champion predictions. Kansas State got picked, and so did Oklahoma State and Utah. Those were the consistent 3 champions picked by CBS Sports. So, like I said, an interesting article on CBS Sports. Once again, it is the Big 12 expert picks for 2024. Most overrated and underrated teams projected, order of finish, and bold predictions. Very interesting article there, talking about what we'll see from the Big 12 this season. No Big 12 teams played this week, and they'll have to wait all until next week when things will get rolling. All right, let's get to a break. We're at the bottom of the hour. Up next, we'll bring on Riley Gates. We'll talk some more Big 12 football with him, and I have a very interesting question about quarterbacks, particularly 2 young quarterbacks in the region. We'll get to that next here on the Morning Blitz here on a Friday.
The Chevy Summer Drive event is going on right now at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Right now, you can get a Chevy Silverado 1500 pickup with up to $5,750 of total rebates when you trade in an eligible vehicle, or get 1.9% financing on select 2023 and 24 model Chevrolets, plus no payments for 90 days. As always, go to hurlchev.com to schedule any service or check out what's on the lot, or just stop on by in South Goodland.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Kate Thompson with the Anderson Trade Group. Today is Friday, August 23rd. And on the overnight last night, September corn traded higher 3/4 cents, $3.72 1/4. December unchanged at $3.93 1/2. March down 1/4 cent to $4.11 1/4. May down 1/2 cent to $4.21. September soybeans up 4 cents on the overnights at $9.45 1/4. November up 3 3/4 at $9.65 1/4. January up 3 1/2 at $9.83, and March up 3 cents at $9.98 1/4. Chicago wheat September contract lower 3 3/4 on the overnights at 507 1/4. December down 3 3/4 at 531 3/4. March down 4 cents at 552 1/4. Kansas City wheat, the September contract down 3 1/4 at 526. December down 4 1/4 at 540 3/4. March down 3 3/4 at 554 1/2. May down 2 1/2 at 563 1/4. On the stock market this morning, the Dow up 185 points at 41,013. The S&P up 33 at 5,627. The Nasdaq up 172 at 19,750. Gold higher at $20.50 an ounce at 2,537. And crude oil up $1.27 a barrel at 74.28. If you have any questions about marketing grain or would like to talk about risk management options, give our Colorado office a call. John Hanke or John Stiles at 970-744-4484. Or in our Kansas City office, myself, Tom Pluto, Jared Law, or Tyler Ghosh at 913-748-3000.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
When challenging conditions arise, we don't back down. We up our game. Outpacing the competition with innovations fueled by Bayer's R&D, keeping you equipped with an expanded portfolio, elite genetics, and additional local test plots. Channel leads the field, so you can rise above. See how you can save at channel.com/finance24. Read and follow pesticide label directions, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
When it comes to growing soybeans, you need an advantage. And with Zetavo soybean seed, you get a big one. 3.4 bushels per acre big. It's a yield advantage made possible by BASF genetics, proprietary germplasm, and industry-leading seed quality. Talk to your retailer today about staying ahead of the game with Zetavo soybean seed from BASF. Zetavo soybean seed.
The rip's worn out and it needs replaced. Who you gonna call?
Roof Masters!
Roof Masters Roofing of Colby has been your premier roofing contractor for over 40 years, offering free estimates on all types of roofs, as well as seamless rain gutters and vinyl siding. So give us a call today. What's that number, Jake?
462-6642. I think you better call
Roof Masters!
The Farmers State Bank of Oakley has been financing agriculture since the day we opened our doors. Hello, this is Corbin, and we are proud to be your locally owned partner in ag. We invite you to come and visit with us when you need to purchase new or used farm equipment, or need any type of agriculture or business loan. We have the knowledge, experience, and financial resources to keep you growing. The Farmers State Bank of Oakley, a tradition of community and agriculture for over 115 years. Member FDIC.
Hello, this is Ron Schilling, president of the Sherman County Community Foundation. We're having a big celebration. Please join us at 7:30 p.m. on September 7th at the Price Convention Center in Goodland as we come together to celebrate all the support you have given us. Big Time Grain Company will be providing live music and a cash bar will be available. We are grateful for you, and we're so excited to announce our new goals and plans for Sherman County. This is a free event and open to everyone. Hope to see you on the 7th.
The only way to start your day.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
With Ross Volkmer and the Morning Blitz.
I'm a man on a mission. I'm a man on a mission.
Rolling along on a Friday morning. Once again, going to be 85 today. It's a little cooler on a Friday before we heat back up about 95 to 97, somewhere in those ranges over the upcoming weekend. And some chances of storms as well off and on throughout the weekend too. So be aware of that as we get into our second segment here on the Morning Blitz. And we're pleased to welcome in a good friend of the show from On3 Sports. That's Riley Gates, who joins us on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware Hotline. Good morning, sir. Are you ready for this weekend of college football?
I'm just going to go ahead and go back in time a little bit, quote Sam Ellinger, we're back.
What is the dog days of summer like for you, trying to find stuff to fill for you guys at On 3? Is it difficult, or is it actually not too bad?
This summer actually wasn't that bad. We did college baseball for a lot of June there. That covered a lot, and we kind of got pretty lucky there with a bunch of obviously like an eventful season last year. All the coaching changes led to a really long portal window, so that was going on. And then like you get those preview magazines; those came out pretty early this year, actually. So basically, it's not really the whole summer. It's more like just get till mid-July once the media days start, and then that's basically the start of the season. So I'd really say like May is really the only time where we were kind of struggling and kind of scraping the barrel for stuff. But it was it was a pretty good summer.
We were, just before you came on, we were talking about CBSSports.com had their Big 12 expert picks, overrated, underrated teams, predicted order, finish, bold predictions. Who would be an overrated team and an underrated team in the Big 12, in your opinion?
Overrated, I've kind of been saying, and I put my money where my mouth is. I don't think Arizona is going to be as good as everybody thinks. I know they've got a great quarterback wide receiver combo. Noah Fafita is supposed to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league, but I just don't. I think we're kind of underestimating how big of a transition this is going to be in coaching for them. Losing Jed Fish to the Washington job. Now, if Jed Fish was still there, I'd be probably like all aboard the hype train for them and saying like, hey, look out for Arizona in the Big 12. But I think there's going to be a little bit of a transition the period where we're going to see some struggles. So I've bet them under 7.5 wins. That's what their number's at, and I'm on the under there, while everybody else kind of sees them as a possible dark horse in the league, actually. So that's my overrated team. Underrated, it's kind of trendy, so I don't really like saying it because it doesn't sound very original, but Iowa State. I just think Iowa State's sitting there. I think their win total 7.5 too, and we really kind of, granted it's the snow game, so it was a weird on all fronts, but we really saw it there in that K-State Iowa State game to end the season. I think Rocco Beck's a lot better than I probably thought he was going to be coming into the season. They had the gambling investigation and kind of forced him into the spot, but he really kind of took it, and I think he's pretty solid. I think Abu Sama, the running back, he's going to have a really good year too. So I like Iowa State to kind of maybe sneak up on some people and cause some issues in the league.
Where do you think Colorado ends up in year two? I always remember our conversation before the season started a year ago, practically, when we had this conversation. You said, no matter what, Deion Sanders won't be more than probably 2 or 3 years in Boulder, because it's either going to be a great success and he moves on, or it stinks to high heaven and he is out anyway. What do you think about year two?
I think it's going to be better, actually. A lot of people it's kind of funny because last year we're sitting here and everybody was big on Colorado. When I say everybody, I mean like the national people. They were big on Colorado, and is Colorado a playoff dark horse? And that we just knew that wasn't going to be the case. And now coming into this year, the Paul Feinbaums of the world couldn't be further from down on Colorado. I actually literally just heard him on TV say that it was laughable to think that Colorado could win the Big 12. I'm somewhere right down the middle with this Colorado team. Look, they still have incredible talent with Shedeur Sanders at quarterback. They have Travis Hunter coming back, and he's healthy and ready to go this year. And I have to think they improved their offensive line. No matter what their talent that they added in the transfer portal is, it's going to be better than it was last year. It's not a hard bar to clear. So I think they're going to be better. It's just they got a lot of challenges. Their non-con is nothing to really kind of look over. North Dakota State is not the North Dakota State of old, but they're still going to probably cause them some struggles, or at least give them a good game. Nebraska is significantly improved coming into this year. It's supposed to be a lot better. And Colorado State's that'll probably be a win for Colorado, but going on the road obviously is never easy in non-con. So that's not a very easy start to the year. And they catch K-State. They catch Arizona on the road. They have to go to Texas Tech, which is hard. They play Utah. They go to KU. I mean, they have, I'm looking at it right here, they have 5 ranked teams right now on their schedule. And that's before the season gets going and the rankings change. And so I've got them right in the 5 to 7 win range. I certainly could see them get into a bowl game. But I think in order to do that, they're going to have to go at least 2-1 in this non-conference slate, which means either, beat North Dakota State or go on the road and steal one at Nebraska, which I'm probably not going to predict happening. But I think if you come out of the non-con at 1-2 or 0-3, I think you're going to be facing a really big uphill battle here to try to get to 6 wins.
Riley Gates on 3 Sports, joining us on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware Hotline here on the Morning Blitz on this Friday. I've predicted Utah and Kansas to play for the Big 12 title. Who do you have?
It's really chalky, but I just think it's going to be Utah and K-State. Like, I know that's nothing bold. That's just taking the 2 best teams. But look, I'm really big on K-State. It's probably going to come back to bite me. But I just think you don't push out a guy like Will Howard if you're not super confident in Avery Johnson. And I think he's going to be a fantastic quarterback. I think the defense will be good. I was actually watching the Pop-Tarts Bowl the other day again, and the running game with DJ Giddens in that game was electric. And now you add a guy like Dylan Edwards. So I like K-State. I think they got a favorable schedule. And especially with the Arizona. Now, like, I know I said I was down on Arizona, but it's still still ranked opponent right now. And that Arizona game is not a conference game. So even if K-State were to lose that one, it doesn't count against their Big 12 record. I like the way that the schedule sets up for K-State this year. And honestly, kind of the same for Utah. I mean, they don't draw either of the Kansas schools. Their biggest test is probably going to Oklahoma State. So I think that kind of paves the way for them. So I'm just going to go chalk with K-State and Utah. Oklahoma State and Iowa State are the 2 teams that I kind of considered, but I just think that K-State and Utah are probably going to be the 2 best.
What do you think about this bold prediction? This is from CBS Sports that came out. Every single team in the Big 12 will lose at least 3 conference games.
I don't hate it. I don't know about everyone.
That's not great for the conference, but I mean, it makes it highly entertaining from a viewer's perspective.
Oh, it would be fantastic to watch and a heck of a Big 12 race. It would absolutely eliminate any chance the Big 12 gets 2 teams in the college football playoff. I mean, you would get the auto bot or the auto bid from the conference champion, and that's it. I mean, there's no team in this league that's going to get in with 3 losses. Like, I feel adamant about that. It just, the way that the Big 12 is perceived, it's just not going to happen. I don't hate the prediction. I just don't think everyone is going to do it. I mean, I think one of these teams is going to emerge and be, unbeaten, or maybe 1 loss in the conference, 2 at most. I just don't think I can see everyone losing 3.
Yeah, 3 might be a little bit much, but I do think, and I think you would agree, it's going to be probably the most entertaining conference to watch week in and week out. I think the teams are all
hands down.
Very even.
We kind of like argue about that at work because I think I'm 1 or maybe 2 of the lone Big 12 guys, and there's a lot of SEC people, some ACC, and it's like they're saying like, oh, there's no team in the Big 12 that can really win the championship, but they're probably not wrong. There's probably not a national champion in this conference. I was like, but it's gonna be way more entertaining and way more fun to watch than 3 SEC teams battling for the top.
Riley Gates is our guest here on the Morning Blitz on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware Hotline. All right, I got a question for you, and maybe even a debatable topic here. Who will have the better season? And then after that, who will have the better career? Avery Johnson or Dylan Raiola?
Wow. Oh, man.
I wanted to talk about this with someone for a long time because I think it is a great debatable question.
That's a fantastic question. I think Avery's going to have the better year because Dylan Raiola obviously playing in the new Big Ten, and Nebraska's still on that. If Nebraska wins 7 or 8 games this year, that's like, people are not going to like scoff at that. They're still in that that rebuild process. And I'm just looking at their schedule here. Ohio State, Iowa, USC. We'll see how that defense is improved this year.
It's not a daunting schedule for Nebraska. It's not. I mean, especially the first 7 to 8 games.
It's not harder.
It's not that hard.
I think I'll say Avery will have the better year just because I have higher expectations for K-State than I have for Nebraska this year. And the better career, I mean, I think if the tough part is I've seen Avery play some.
Mm-hmm.
We just really haven't seen Dylan play at the college level, but I think his ceiling is probably expected to be higher. I think I'm going to say Dylan for a better career, simply because I know Matt Rule can coach, and he's got that, he's got the brand power with Nebraska. If Dylan Raiola lives up to the hype that everybody's got with him, and I mean the same for Avery Johnson, but if he lives up to that hype, I mean he's gonna go down as a Nebraska legend. I mean that's crazy to talk about with a true freshman, but it's true.
No, he's a dude. Here'd be my example. I think I would agree with you. Avery Johnson will have the better season this year. Reason being, he's going to have more total yards. He's going to run for more, and I don't know if he'll pass for as much, but he'll definitely run for more. The career-wise, I could see Raiola being in the better spot there, and I'll tell you the reason why. I have concern that Avery Johnson, because he is a good runner, and they're going to run him some, he has a chance of possibly getting hurt a little bit more than maybe Raiola would, who's not as much of a runner, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it also comes down to, like, how do you define a better career? If Dylan Raiola ends up throwing for, like, I don't know, I'm just going to pull a number out of my hat here, 6,000 yards in his career, and Avery Johnson throws for 4,000. But Avery Johnson won 2 Big 12 championships, and Nebraska never won the Big Ten. Like, who had the better career? It's like, you can debate that all day long. That's a tough question, man. That's a really tough question.
No, it's a tough one, but I think it's fascinating. And I am so fascinated to watch those two's careers, and then kind of when we're all said and done in 3 to 4 years here, kind of where it sits. I'll be fascinated to see.
I'm very excited to watch Dylan Raiola play football. I'm excited. I'm caught in I've told you this before, I'm caught right now in the conundrum of, as a K-State guy, I love to kind of poke fun at Nebraska. They're like KU. They're like, Iowa State. But dang it, I really like Matt Rule, and I'm really excited to watch Dylan Raiola play football. So I'm like, I kind of have lost the ability to be a hater because I kind of like watching them succeed.
I know you're a Husker hater. I know you are, and that's okay though. We'll forgive you, Riley.
It was fun when it was Scott Frost and it was just kind of always they always found a way to lose. That was fun.
It was fun. I've got gray hairs because of Scott Frost. Let me tell you that much. Riley Gates, our guest here from On3 Sports. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm so interested to see what that will look like between Dylan and Avery when it's all said and done. Before we get you out of here, I wanted to touch you on this weekend, especially the big game, Georgia Tech, Florida State. I don't know about you, Riley, but I feel like this could be a pretty darn entertaining football game. I know people think Florida State's going to win this thing. I think Georgia Tech is a much improved program underneath Coach King.
Yep, 100%. And I think people are not going to be, heck, the line's come down, I think 3 points this week alone. So there's definitely money coming in on Georgia Tech to keep it close. Look, they're an improved team, and it's not the Georgia Tech of old. It's not the 3-win Georgia Tech that you've kind of gotten used to seeing. Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty good game. It might end up being Florida State pulls away by a score or two at the end, but I don't think we're in for a blowout. I think we're going to see a pretty good game. I'm excited that it's kind of a sneaky one, one that teams might not know. And I'm not a big DJU guy. I've seen him at Clemson, I've seen him at Oregon State, and I just haven't been blown away by what he brings to the field. And so I think we're going to see a pretty tight game there. And I hope we will, because the rest of the games tomorrow will not be very good games. They're all in 20-ish point spreads. And so it'll probably be blowout city after this one.
How are you feeling about your Dallas Cowboys heading into the upcoming season, especially with CeeDee Lamb not getting a deal done yet?
I'm stressed. I'm annoyed. But on the flip side, I'm not coming into this season very optimistic. I'm really not. Like they've lost a bunch of people in free agency. They really haven't added anybody in free agency. The draft was meh at best, and now they won't give a contract to two of their best players, and so it's the expectations are kind of low, admittedly, which is different for me. But maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's when they sneak up and shock me. But I'm not really seeing a lot of reason to expect much different. They'll probably win 9 or 10 games, maybe get into the playoffs and find a way to lose again. The Packer game broke me, Ross. The Packer game broke me, and I'm just not fixed yet.
See, this is how I feel as a Husker fan, my friend. It's just how I feel. Everyone's like, oh, they could have a great year this year. I'm just like, give me 6 wins. Just let me go to a bowl game. It's all I want. Just let me go to a bowl game. When you're one of blue blood like Nebraska, having a bowl game in that long. Yeah.
When you suffer for a while, you'll take really any kind of success.
That's right. That's right. I'm in that boat. I'll take any success. I've been suffering long enough. I'll take any success.
Yeah.
Riley Gates of On3 Sports. Always a great conversation. Riley, thank you so much for hopping on the show. Really appreciate the time and the insight. Enjoy college football this weekend. We'll catch up soon.
You as well. Looking forward to it.
All right. Great stuff there from Riley Gates of On3 Sports. A great conversation on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware hotline. Oh, that's good stuff. That question, I asked him, that was a question I wanted to debate when CPD was here. Talking about, who will have the better season, who will have the better career, Raiola or Johnson. And with them both kind of starting their first full years of starting this season, we'll get a good kind of measuring stick, I believe. Like I said, if Avery Johnson stays healthy, I think God, it's so hard to say. He's going to have he'll have an amazing career because he can throw it. But the thing is, he can run it really, really well. I just get concerned. That reminds me so much of Taylor Martinez. And Taylor Martinez was not a good passer, but he was a dynamic runner. And they loved to run him because that's how they got big plays in the quarterback game. And I could see that happening to Avery Johnson. He could have a great year this year, but as the season, teams find a way to slow him down in the run game, he gets hurt more. And he doesn't play as much, and he's impacted by that. I'm not saying he doesn't play as much. He gets impacted by his injury or injuries possibly in the future. And I could see there where I think Dylan Raiola is going to be a pocket passer. He'll scramble when he has to, but most of a pocket passer as long as the offensive line can hold up. And that's a big if at Nebraska. If they can hold him up, keep him upright, I think he'll have a great career there at NU. All right, let's get to a break. We'll come back, wrap it up with some a little bit of baseball and volleyball in the walk-off next on the Blitz.
Summertime is here, and so are your local Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware stores with anything and almost everything you need for these warm days. Give your place a new look with Benjamin Moore paints. Keep your lawn looking its best with mowers, blowers, and trimmers from Craftsman, Toro, and Ego. And they still have that amazing selection of outdoor grills from Traeger and Weber, plus the popular flat-top Blackstone griddles. Find it all and much more at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Colby and Goodland, open every day but Sunday.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the famous footwear that makes us actually want to go back to school. With the newest styles from all your favorite brands like Nike, Adidas, Crocs, Converse, New Balance, Birkenstock, and more. You'll find everything kids want, all at prices parents can appreciate. Because you don't have to overspend to make it famous. Famous Footwear even has fit experts in store to make sure you get the right size every time. So for the perfect fit, make it famous. Plus, right now, buy one, get one half off when you shop your local Famous Footwear or famous.com. Some exclusions apply.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Las Vegas comes to Colby, Kansas. It's the first annual Battle of the Bullhens with events like bull riding featuring J.R. Stratford, two-time NFR qualifier and round winner, with Triple S bucking bulls, truly the best stock in the Midwest. There's protection bullfighting, and then the thrills of freestyle bullfighting making its debut. That's where a fighter goes head-to-head with those Spanish fighting bulls. It's going to be wild all Saturday night, August 24th, 7 p.m. at the Fairgrounds in Colby. For more, go to the Facebook page of Battle of the Bullhens.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
No one rambles on better than Ross Volkmer.
All you do is talk.
On the Morning Blitz.
Here we go.
66 degrees outside, a little overcast now outside the KKCI studios. Going to be making our way to a high of 85 today here in Northwest Kansas on the high plains. Busy weekend. You heard just a few moments ago the Battle of the Bullhens going on in Colby. That's Saturday night. And, of course, all day Saturday it is the Sunflower Festival over in Colby. They've got the co-ed sand volleyball tournament, a car show, activities for the kids in the park, a horseshoe tournament, got a cornhole tournament, hot dog eating contest. Of course, a street dance as well later that night. So a lot of fun going on at the 2024 Sunflower Festival over in Colby. So go check that out if you're looking for something to do here this weekend. In baseball, real quickly, let Rockies lose in a series finale to the Washington Nationals. They end up losing 8-3, the final score. Brenton Doyle did have a home run. But they loaded the bases, did the Rockies at one point in time in the inning, but unfortunately ended up hitting into a double play, did Nolan Jones to end that big inning. Cal Quantrill got roughed around in 5 innings, giving up a couple runs on a couple hits. So the Rockies have a very stiff test this weekend. They're in New York taking on the Yankees. So that's not good. Aaron Judge is absolutely on fire right now. Yankees, that first pitch tonight is at 5:05 Mountain Time. And the Royals, a very intriguing series this weekend as they welcome in the NL East leading Phillies. Could it be a preview of something to come down the line? I don't know. That seems a little far-fetched, but possibly. Phillies and Royals, first pitch is set for 7:10 Central Time. That's on AM 790 KXXX, where you can catch all your Royals action, of course, the rest of this season.
A 3-run walk-off home run. A game-winning walk-off with a walk-off.
His second walk-off hit of the season.
In walk-off fashion. That baby's go.
And, of course, can't forget about Colby Community College volleyball. It's our first kind of area local sporting event getting going today, sporting team getting going today. Colby Community College volleyball down at the Midland, Texas College Kickoff Classic. Interesting name with the kickoff because it's volleyball. But nonetheless, it is the Kickoff Classic down in Midland College. They'll take on Panola College and Lee College today. So 2 games today and then 2 more games on Saturday with New Mexico Junior College and Midland College. So 4 games scheduled against some very tough competition, but Colby Community College considered one of the better teams in all of junior college volleyball. They're a top 20 team. So they're going to have that. And also, don't forget tonight, high school volleyball inside the Max Jones Fieldhouse. Colby comes to town. So does Norton and Peaburg for the annual volleyball jamboree. And always love this. I love the jamboree ideas for football, volleyball. I think it's great getting together with other schools and just kind of seeing what you have and getting to work out some things, some kinks. I mean, it's a quick turnaround, only a week of practice for both these teams to an extent, but it's good to get out there and see what you have and know what you need to work on before your first matches that actually really count. So it's great. That'll be tonight inside the Max Jones Fieldhouse. So that'll do it for our show here today and for this week. Thanks again for tuning on in. Thanks again to Riley Gates for hopping on the show as well on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware Hotline. We'll be back again on Monday to do it all over again. We'll talk to you then. Enjoy college football this weekend as well. We'll see you Monday on the Blitz.
Rocket 102.5 KKCO.